Welcome to Just a Minute on Eastern Sierra Now. I'm Alexander Taylor. Here's how it works. Every candidate gets the same 10 questions and exactly 1 minute to answer each. When the clock hits 0, we move on. It's fast, it's fair, and it's all about giving you a clear picture of the people asking for your vote. Make sure to subscribe to Eastern Sierra Now on YouTube and follow us on all platforms to stay informed on everything happening in our community. Let's get into it. Joining us now is Dana Crom. A native of Inyo County, Dana began practicing in our local court system in 1995 and over the past 30 years has handled thousands of both civil and criminal cases. In 2014, she joined the District Attorney's Office and was appointed Inyo County District Attorney in January of 2025. She's now running for Superior Court Judge seat number 1. Dana Crom, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Ready for some questions?
I am ready for the 10 questions in 10 minutes. Let's get this going.
Here we go.
Okay.
So first question, why did you choose to run for judge at this point in your career?
So I'm running for seat 1, which is the position that is currently held by Judge Suzanne Rizzo, who is not running for re-election. And in the 30 years that I have been here in Inyo County, which is a 2-judge court, one thing that I have noticed is that a good judge, an effective judge, has a broad base of experience. So at this point in my career, I have handled basically every type of case that has come before the court. And this is when I feel I am best prepared to represent the citizens of Inyo County as the next Superior Court judge. I have deep connections to this community, I have the experience, and I think I have a unique perspective of what it takes to be a good Superior Court judge.
Amazing answer. Second question, what experiences in your legal career have best prepared you to serve as a judge in Inyo County?
So as I just said, I've handled thousands of cases. I have handled civil, criminal, family law, probate, juvenile, everything basically that comes before the court. So in addition to having that broad base of experience, I have also represented residents in Inyo County and interests in Inyo County throughout our 10,000 square miles. So from the far reaches of the desert all the way up to Bishop and in between. Lastly, I've also, in addition to my practice, participated with justice-involved partners. So these are individuals that meet to discuss how can we better provide court services and justice services to individuals in Inyo County. And so I have focused both on the practical and the legal aspect.
Great. What do you see as the unique needs or challenges of the Inyo County court system?
So I think that, and this is not so unique to the court, but the court system and our legal system in Inyo County in and of itself has the same problem that other employers do. We need people, and attracting talented lawyers that want to practice in Inyo County. In the years that I have been here, I have seen the number of lawyers decline and the number of cases increase, and that doesn't create the best scenario for people that need lawyers, that either they have to represent themselves or they have to go out of the area. So the court can't necessarily recruit lawyers. Mm-hmm. We can encourage lawyers to come to the area, and a shout out to retired Judge Dean Stout, who is amazing at doing this. But the other things that we can do is look at calendars and try to encourage the lawyers that are here to expand their practice to multiple areas.
Fantastic. How can a judge best serve a rural and geographically large community like ours?
So Inyo County is about 10,000 square miles. It's huge. The best way to serve a rural county is get to know your county. Go out to those areas. And it's not just going out and visiting them. It's also meeting with and engaging with individuals throughout the county, because then you'll find out what are the barriers that they've identified to accessing the court system or accessing attorneys in this system. So that's one way. The other is from a court operations standpoint, looking at what are the barriers, how can we adjust calendars, the locations of hearings, maybe remote hearings, so that we can provide services, court services to these individuals. Lastly, as I said earlier, involving yourself with justice-involved partners, finding out what types of services need to be provided throughout the county and how can we best provide them.
Awesome. What does fairness in the courtroom mean to you in practice?
So in practice, this is win or lose. I feel like my case has been fairly handled by a judge who is prepared, knows the facts and the law, understands the law and applies it equally to both sides, allows both sides an opportunity to be heard, listens and considers the arguments that are presented by both sides before making a decision, treats parties with respect, and demands that each party treat each other with respect, and then timely handles decisions and timely handles matters, because frankly, time is respect. So I think when you have a hearing and that is the way that the judge has approached the case, then I feel like I've been treated fairly, even if I lose the case.
What qualities make someone an effective judge beyond legal knowledge?
So I would say temperament is one of the most important qualities that you can have. Frankly, someone who is ill-tempered that is on the bench is creating unnecessary barriers, and who wants to offer evidence or present in court to someone that acts like they don't want to hear from you. And when you do that, you're not getting all of the information that you need. You're not getting the evidence that you need. And so having the right temperament is really important. The other is treating parties with respect. And that is not just how you interact with the parties, but being on time, issuing timely decisions, holding parties accountable when parties are taking advantage of others. So I think those are temperament and respect are qualities that are very important for a judge.
Great answer. How do you ensure your decisions remain fair and unbiased?
So as district attorney, I have to review cases. I review law enforcement reports and make charging decisions on a daily basis. Right now, I am required to do that blindly. I cannot see the demographic information about anyone in the law enforcement report. And so that really requires me to focus on what are the facts, what's the legal issue that's presented, what is the law, and what decisions should be made, and taking into consideration what is fair and just. That is the same approach that you need to take on the bench. But you also have to bring with you your own internal biases and look at a case and make sure that you're keeping those biases in check and that you have them at the forefront so that you understand what it is that you're looking for and whether you're being influenced by something else. And lastly, if you are being influenced and you can't set that aside, you cannot make that decision. You cannot handle that case, period. So that's how.
Great answer. How do you approach situations where you've had to reflect on or learn from a difficult decision?
So difficult decisions are something in my current position that I have to make on a regular basis. And when I am reflecting on a difficult decision that I've made, I usually look at the whys. Why did I make the decision? How did I get to where I got to? Was there a better way? Kind of doing that hindsight is 2020. When I've made that decision, I have to often communicate it to others. And so part of that reflection is, how did others receive this decision? What was their position? How did they communicate their disagreement with me? And is there a way that I can maybe improve upon the message, even if I'm confident with how the decision was made?
Absolutely. What steps would you take to keep cases moving efficiently while still giving each one the attention it deserves?
So the end of that question is probably what is the most controlling. And that is, when you're looking at a case, obviously the more impact that decision has on someone, the more time you have to give to it. And I think that's just logic. So if you are in a hotly contested case that is going to impact someone's life greatly, obviously you don't want to give it 2 seconds and dismiss it, because what is the message that you're sending to that person? Mm-hmm. So that is the first thing you have to look at. The other is, you have to set clear expectations for the parties. what time frame do they believe they need, and what is the time frame that the court is going to give them? We need to keep the parties in check, understanding that sometimes you have to veer, and then you have to keep your word, and you have to hold people accountable. And so those are the steps that you need to take.
Amazing. Last question. How would you make the court system more understandable and accessible for everyday people?
So judges oftentimes have to use legal jargon, and it is just part of the language that that the judges have to speak and lawyers have to speak. However, it's really important before a court goes into that legal jargon to make sure that the litigants know what's happening, that they understand what is it the judge is doing, why is the judge doing what the judge is doing, and that they can ask questions to clarify what is happening in plain English. And so I think that is the primary way to communicate and to make a court more accessible. The other is if a litigant asks a question and you can't answer it because there are limitations, ethical limitations in what judges can do, is that you direct them to somebody who can answer their question for them.
That makes great sense. That was our last question. Dana, would you like to go ahead and address the voters and tell them a little about your campaign?
I would, thank you. Well, first I want to thank you for having me here. This is a wonderful opportunity, the 10 great questions. I am just asking for the support of the voters. I have a tremendous connection to Inyo County. I was born right outside of the county, but I was raised here. I chose to come back and to practice law here. I have handled a multitude of cases. I have represented people from every walk of life in this county, and I'd like to take that to the next step and be the best Superior Court judge that Inyo County citizens deserve. And I can only do that with their support, and I would hope that you vote for me on June 2nd. You can find me on my socials, which on Facebook, I'm elect Dana Crom, Inyo County Superior Court Judge, and on Instagram, it's elect_Dana Crom Judge. And I have a website, electdanacromjudge.com, which gives you more information about who I am, why I am running, and you can also find out where I will be throughout this campaign. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Just a Minute at Eastern Sierra Now. Our goal is to keep you informed, engaged, and connected to what matters most in our community. If you found this helpful, subscribe on YouTube and follow us across all platforms so you never miss an update. And remember, local elections matter. Be informed and be sure to vote. We'll see you next time.